It was already written that way. Before I arrived. Before my badge mattered. The line was there. Use the code word if conditions apply. No explanation. Just sitting in the log. That sentence appears in Appalachian Trail records. Different years. Same wording. These aren't campfire stories. They're internal notes. Restricted. Tonight, you're hearing 7 redacted ranger logs. Each one references the same code word. Not what it means. Just when it's used. If this shouldn't be public. You didn't hear it here. Stay quiet. Stay with us. The log doesn't start where it should. It never does. It starts after something has already shifted. A time stamp. A location marker. Nothing else. No explanation for why those two things mattered more than anything that came before. I was alone in the station that night. The other ranger had left early. Didn't log out properly. Just said the radio felt wrong. Not broken. Not noisy. Wrong. By the time the call came in, the building had gone still. Old wood cooling. Metal ticking quietly inside the walls. The radio activated without a tone. It didn't crackle. Didn't warm up. It just existed. Like it had already been on for a while. And I was the one arriving late. No warning. No identifier. I waited. 5 seconds passed. Then 10. Then a breath came through the speaker. Not static. Not movement. Breathing. Then a voice said my name. Not the one stitched to my uniform. The one from before I wore it. I didn't answer. Protocol says you wait for identification. But this wasn't written anywhere. The voice repeated the name. Slower. Careful. Like it needed to make sure I didn't miss it. Then it gave a mile marker. One that doesn't exist anymore. I checked the board. Then the logbook. My finger stopped halfway down the page. Because that marker had only ever been written once before. And next to it, smaller than everything else, was the code word. I hadn't been trained on it yet. Not officially. But I recognized the handwriting. Deliberate. Final. The radio stayed open. Breathing continued. I asked for visual confirmation. The voice said it could see my lights. I turned toward the window. The parking lot was empty. No vehicles. No reflections. Only fog moving slowly across the gravel. The voice said I shouldn't come closer. That wasn't part of any procedure. I asked it to repeat. It didn't. The radio clicked once. Then again. Then the line went dead. I waited. 30 seconds passed. Then a full minute. Then the system marked the call as resolved. No response required. I hadn't typed anything. When I checked the entry history, my login wasn't listed. Someone else had closed it. The final line appeared later. Condition observed. Code word applied. I locked the station early. Didn't write anything else. Because I understood something then. You don't use the word when you know what's happening. You use it when nothing fits anymore. The forest was quiet in a way that made sound feel like a mistake. Every step felt delayed. Like the ground had already moved on without us. The missing hiker report was hours old by the time we reached the trail. Solo. Experienced. Prepared. Last known location near a shelter that hadn't been staffed in years. Search protocol is simple. Sweep once. Mark. Move forward. But when we reached the shelter, the ground said stop. Footprints went in. None came out. No disturbance. No signs of panic. Just a pack resting upright against the wall. Zipped. Dry. Inside was a notebook. The last page wasn't torn. It wasn't damaged. Just blank. Except for the code word written across the top. Again. And again. Same handwriting. Same pressure. I radioed it in. Silence answered first. Then a voice I didn't recognize told us to stand by. Not retreat. Not advance. Just stand. So we did. Standing still felt wrong. Not unsafe. Wrong. Like movement would register somewhere we couldn't see. So we listened instead. To nothing. Fog rolled in slowly enough to watch it happen. Tree by tree. Shape by shape. The shelter felt closer as everything else disappeared. My partner asked how long we were supposed to wait. The radio clicked. No answer. I checked my watch. 40 minutes had passed. It felt much longer. When the order finally came through, it wasn't a voice. It was a tone. Then a text-only transmission. Search complete. We hadn't moved. The hiker was never listed as found. But the case was closed. The final report sealed itself within the hour. Only one instruction remained visible. Do not re-enter the area. Under it. The code word. The shelter was removed from the map the following year. No explanation given. The transmission didn't come from the trail. It came from the tower. A frequency reserved for emergencies. Or when the word is used. I was alone again. Night shift. The lights flickered once. Then held steady. The radio activated without static. No call tone. A voice began reading log numbers. Old ones. Some from before digital records existed. Each number followed by a pause. Waiting. Like it expected confirmation. I didn't respond. When it reached my first log, my hands stopped moving. The voice pronounced it wrong. But I knew what it meant. The final number spoken hadn't been written yet. That was the problem. The system prompted me to complete the entry. A familiar field appeared on the screen. Blank. The cursor blinked. Once. Then again. each time slower than the last. Like it was giving me time to reconsider. Waiting. I stared at it longer than I should have. Then I typed the word. The transmission stopped immediately. Outside, the tower lights went dark. 3 seconds passed. Then they came back on. The log sealed itself. Still active. Still referenced. Still taught. Still used. And if you ever hear it spoken on an open channel, you won't ask what it means. You'll know it's already too late. For more stories rangers aren't supposed to tell, subscribe to Park Ranger Confidential.